all that I need. How to succeed.
Well, I first arrived in New York City during the Korean War, if one remembers it. And I was a young fellow, I must have been in my 20s. I wanted to be an actor. And I first lived with my brother, who was going to the neighborhood playhouse. And I lived in a little one-room place in Brooklyn, and I would travel on the LL or the AA or whatever it was to go into the New York City, and I enrolled in what was called the American Theater Wing. And I got friendly with a secretary there who liked me and said, "Bobby, would you like to make some money?" I said, "Sure." She said, "Go over to Dumont Studios. They're filming a show called Name That Tune." And I said, "What do I have to do?" "Just show up, they'll give you $20, and you'll be a fake contestant. Not for the real show, but so that the music matches the answers when the real show goes on." And you would do it with several songs and contestants and what have you, and then you'd leave, and the real audience would come in, and everything would match for the show. And I went over there, and I was young and wonderful, and started imitating Danny Kaye. Well, I was jumping on the piano, I was young and having fun, and a fella came over to me and said, like with a cigar in his mouth, "I'm an agent." And I went, "You're an agent? This is like the movies." "Yes, call me up Monday morning. There is a movie, you're just wonderful." And Martin Baum sent me to Paramount Pictures for a movie with George Seaton, and it was done down on the Virgin Islands, St. Thomas, and they selected me and about 8 other young kids to play sailors for 10, 12 days on St. Thomas, sitting in a hotel, and paid $500 a week. Oh my God. Frank Gorshin was one of the sailors. A small little part. You know, they'd call me down to the ship in the harbor, and I'd get taken off on a stretcher, all bandaged. You couldn't even see me. And I think Deborah Carr leaned over and said, "How you doing, sailor?" And I said, "I'm just doing fine, thank you so much." And that was it. That was it. Still in the movie. And I came back to New York, and they said, "Would you like to, there's a show called The Matchmaker with Ruth Gordon, and go to the Theater Guild. Tyrone Guthrie is directing it." And I didn't know who any of these people were, per se. And I went up there, and the first question from David Merrick, the producer, "What is your experience? What have you done before?" And I was about to say, "I haven't done anything, you know, I mean, I did a..." But before I could get that out, what an agent does, he puts his hand over your mouth and he said, "Oh, Mr. Morse has just finished a major motion picture for Paramount, The Proud and Profane. It'll be coming out in December." Oh, wonderful. They were happy that I'd done that.
Never mind. Leave me alone. Never leave me alone. I'm all right. Everybody back to work. Come on, back to work. Everybody get back to work. Back to work. Did you hear me? I said everybody back to work.
I'm sorry that I bumped into you, sir, but I'd like to apply for a job.
Then came Say Darling. That's when I first met Abe Burrows, and then I went on to Take Me Along. But before I went in to Take Me Along, based on Our Wilderness by Eugene O'Neill, a musical with Walter Pidgeon and Jackie Gleason, before I went to rehearsal, Abe Burrows came up to me. "We have something for you, Fuhrer and Martin, the producers, right after Take Me Along. We want you to do a show called How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying." And I went, what a wonderful thing. I'm going into a show, and I've already got another show. After I finish a year and a half with that show, I go into whatever the How to Succeed was. I didn't know. And Frank Lesser was going to write the music, and I went, my God.
Dear reader, this little book is designed to explain everything you need to know about the science of getting ahead in business. Your first step is to memorize all the simple rules in the chapters which follow.
When we went into rehearsal for How to Succeed, we'd have a reading, for the cast, and all the people, the producers and everybody would sit around, makeup people, et cetera, press, and you would read the script out loud, and everybody howled and laughed, and I mean, it was just, I mean, really was funny, and play the music, and Frank Lesser would sing the songs for just the time we first met. And after the second and third or fourth day of doing that, nobody laughed. And we all went, well, what have we got here? Nobody laughed. We just did it because it was sketch comedy. Abe Burrows said to me, wait till you hit an audience. The laughs will be there. Trust it. Trust me. Because we would go through, you know, come down, how to apply for a job, how to advance from a mailroom. I mean, it was, well, it just filled my heart with glee to be able to do this Frank Lesser songs.
How to apply for a job, how to advance from the mailroom, how to sit down at a desk, how to dictate memorandums.
Approached by Bob Fosse and taught musical numbers, what to do, where to go, how to hit it, whatever. This was just such a thrill to be in the surroundings of the great creative people that guided us all into this wonderful experience in the 60s about how to succeed in business without really trying. I mean, who would have a wonderful song by Frank Lesser that would be sung into a mirror? Now there you are. Yes, there's that face. That face that somehow I trust. It may embarrass you to hear me say it I must, say it I must. And to be able to do a number like that in front of a mirror, choreographed by Fosse, me throwing soap up in the air, catching it, shaving, while the orchestra went zzz, 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 zzz. I mean, all of it was just wonderful theater.
I believe in you.
Stop that man, gotta stop him. Stop that man, gotta stop him. Stop that man, gotta stop that man.
I mean, I remember rehearsing Brotherhood of Man. There is a brotherhood of man, a benevolent brotherhood of man. Well, it was a big song and a big number. And I couldn't learn the steps right away because I'm per se not a dancer. I move well, but I can learn it in about 4, 5, or 6 days. But dancers are marvelous. The choreographer can go, okay, I want pas de bourrée, turn, right, left, hit your hand, go. And they got it. They have it right away. And I would go, pas de bourrée, I love it all, I do it all day, and I couldn't get it right away. It would take me 3 or 4 days. Bob Fosse says to me, oh, Bobby, I love you, but I gotta finish the number with the guys and the gals or whatever. You go in the room, please, with my assistant, and she'll teach you the steps so you'll be able to rejoin Bob and he'll fix it up. I said, fine. I knocked on the door for the assistant to teach me the number. There's a Brotherhood of Man. And the assistant was Gwen Verdon. You're the assistant? Yes, Bobby, come on in. We're going to learn the number. Yes, Miss Verdon. I mean, and this is what it was about.
Oh, aren't you proud to be in that fraternity, that big brotherhood of man?
When we went to Philadelphia with How to Succeed, we didn't know. There were 40 people in the audience on opening night. And boom, the reviews came, and we were sold out for 2 years. And at the 46th Street Theater, where there's a show there now called Hamilton, where I played, 46th Street, How to Succeed. The president came. Well, there's a show there now, and I think it's a different theater. They've renamed it, and there is a show there called what is that? Hamilton, yes. And it'll have a small run, but we were there for 2 or 3 years longer.
Gentlemen, thank you. Gentlemen, I'd like to present my new approach to wicked advertising, which in my humble opinion, I think it's brilliant.
Sounds promising. Proceed, Finn.
Thank you, sir.
David Swift, the director, was very, very enthusiastic about the project of How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying. So much so that he practically followed the whole script as it was done in the show. There are a couple of things he did differently or changed, but there weren't anything that I can remember of any great significance, because it was significant enough the way the book and the show and the original from the Broadway was set in his mind. You know, I mean, he was excited about it.
What's his idea?
You heard. It's a television show designed to give us penetration and peak reaction. Don't you ever listen? Sounds great, Vince. Great, doesn't it, man?
But what is his idea for the show?
There's something about when you're on the stage, you use everything this way or this way. In a movie, you're going down a corridor and you have to readjust in a sense. It's not going to be the same as the stage. On the stage, there was things that would come in and drop, and it was more, it was sketches coming down. You know, a desk would come in and a thing. It wouldn't be real, but either were you. I mean, you are doing a unreal thing in a real way, but it's unreal, and it's, as I said before, it's sketch comedy. It's, leaning ahead on somebody, or presenting someone with a rose, or, you know, a Miss Jones, and being able to snuggle up to her leg, Finch, F-I-N-C-H, and finding all that. In the movie, I don't know if it paid off as well, but I don't want to knock it. It's wonderful, but I miss that kind of, the stage is different. I mean, David Swift, the director, was wonderful, very imaginative. He loved to put himself in the movie, too. There's a scene in the elevator where he's the elevator operator.
Rosemary, make up your mind, in or out. I have other clients, you know.
And the wonderful comics and people of the day played small parts.
When I joined this firm as a brash young man, well, I said to myself, now, brash young man, don't get any ideas. Well, I stuck to that, and I haven't had one in years.
I was working with some of the same people that did the Broadway show, you know, Sammy Smith. We play it the company way, wherever the company... That was written in one night in Philadelphia. And it was in the show 3 days later.
The company furniture.
Oh, it suits me fine.
The company letterhead.
A Valentine.
The director may say, I want to shoot it 2 or 3 times. And I'll pick out the best one, or whatever it is, whatever best is, you know. So we have an experience, at least I had that experience in How to Succeed, where you were pampered with.
When you're down there at the bottom of the heap,
Down at the bottom of the heap.
where the mud is also very, very deep.
Down in the cruddy muddy deep.
Could I do that shot again? I really don't think I misstepped or something. I just feel it can go a little, it's taller, maybe fatter. Could I do, what about my hair? I dropped darn it. I hit the desk with my arm, and I'd like to try all those things. And the director says, sure, you want to do it again? Do it 10 times, do it 4 times, or we're only going to do 2 takes or whatever. And listen, there are certain things you do where it's one take, or we don't have time to really do a whole setup again for that take because we got to have the people moving here. The bell has to come down. You have to cross the stage. You have to say that line at this precise moment. And if we go again, it's going to be another hour and a half to get the bell right, get the people bombed, get the thing going on the bed. Yeah, it's a lot of responsibility for an actor as he's walking across whatever he's doing, you know, have to say a line. And he goes, I forgot the line. You forgot the line? Cut. Set it up again. Da-ba-dee, from the beginning, da-ba-da, you're back. Those kind of shots drive me crazy.
One thing I admired in a man, it is humility.
Your knowledge of the show and what it was, you could discuss. Never were there arguments or anything like that.
Yes, you're right. You're right.
I attended Radio City Music Hall presentation of this movie. I mean, it was startling. Just very exciting and put together well, and I was quite proud. It was very inventive and very exciting, and the choreography was the same as Broadway, because they had a dance captain, whoever knew all the steps that Fosse did. So it was obviously a wonderful experience, but I hate to say it, of course the stage version to me, that was something. The movie was wonderful, but nothing will ever replace, in my heart, being on a stage.
How to handle a disaster. In every businessman's career, there are times when everything goes wrong. This is a time for maintaining a cool head and following the one simple rule: put the blame on somebody else.
So there was a great experience working with Fear and Martin and Abe Burrows and Frank Lesser and Bob Fosse. Here it is this time that I'm talking about it, but the memory of it is very small, but it's part of my life, and I was blessed, absolutely blessed, to get out of the U.S. Navy and do the matchmaker, say darling, take me along, and How to Succeed, boom, 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 like that. Oh, it was a great experience.
Darling, I don't care if you work in the mailroom, or you're chairman of the board, or you're the president of the United States. I love you.
Say that again.
I love you.
No, before that.
We'll play it the company way.